Aussie.
And there we go. And as all good thinking people know, Canada chose Abigail's birthday to have their National Day. The two are directly related, to the best of my knowledge. So happy Abigail Canada Day. Canada Abigail Day? Abigail Canada Day. That's the thing. And who else is here besides Abigail? Nobody. And Fox and Megaleech, I think I saw, all happily chatting before I even went live. But that's all good. And speaking of birthday, well, presents. It's not my birthday, but I got presents, which is to say items I purchased off the internet, which then arrived. Look, I got just so many new cocktail shirts. This one is actually a black cat making and drinking cocktails, which I quite like. So you're right, nobody. Alphabetically, Abigail's before Canada. And I think it flows better as well, Abigail Canada Day. And Raiders, good evening to you, sir. And I hope everyone's fine. Beverage. Wow, that's weird. It's the clarified cocktail I had the other night that I said was a bit strong. Well, I think I spilt dinner on my jeans. I'm just noticing what's that weird mark on my jeans. It's part of my dinner. The clarified cocktail I had the other night that tasted quite strong, and I thought it would go well with sody, and so I did. I put what I had left with my my Cappy, lemon and basil. Not sponsored, not paid product placement, just statement of good product. An Australian soda. Tastes weirdly like beer. It's a really weird taste. It's a very weird taste. Abigail, today you learned your brother has a still on his farm and is distilling his own vodka and perhaps whiskey. Nice. That's what you like to hear, that you've got a family member who's distilling booze. Completely illegally, I assume, because that makes it even better if it's illegal moonshine. Raiders, some good news. In addition to the Trump org being indicted tomorrow, Avi Yemeni got sued by a kick-ass lawyer. Nice! What's the littlest Semitic Nazi going to be getting sued over? Because he is one weird little unit. So I'm just looking to see. No, Avi Yemeni is not important enough to make news headlines. Oh well, he's such a little piece of shit. Domestic abuser, obsessively bullies children at public events, and runs pretty scared when people make fun of him. Abigail, are you pretty sure he's not doing it illegally? No, Boy Scout. Wouldn't surprise if it was a worst kept secret, this tiny country town type of thing. I'm not sure exactly what the legality of seals is. Oh, Raiders, I did read that story. A woman who's an ex-gangland lawyer and her boyfriend or husband has been having online fights with little Avi for a while, and I forget the specifics, but yeah, this tough as nails lawyer has decided she's going after Avi Yemeni. Good. And I don't even know if she's. I assume it's money. I don't know. Hope she buries the little twerp. Oh yes, and that was another fun bit of news, Abigail. Donald Rumsfeld died. When we find out where he's buried, we can declare it a new outdoor public toilet. Because he's garbage. War criminal, defender of torture, just evil piece of shit who was part of that evil cabal that profited overall to the tunes of billions of dollars while they inflicted over 1 million deaths. It's just ridiculous. Ridiculous how corrupt the Bush regime was and how there was not even a passing investigation into the absolutely endemic corruption. It's fucking wild. But yeah, I mean, it's kind of like Rumsfeld's quite famous for his garbled speech where he talked about known knowns and unknown knowns. He was saying something important, but he was absolutely garbling what he was saying because he's a fucking idiot. And what he was trying to say is, as in any difficult situation, when you're assessing what you should be doing, you need to be very clear of, here are the questions to which we are confident we have the answers. Here are the questions to which we aren't confident we have the answers. And besides those two categories, you need to be aware there's probably stuff you're not even aware of that's very important, and you need to relentlessly keep searching for the things that essentially you don't even know you know. You don't even know that you don't know. Your knowledge is so bad, you've got this gap of things, you're not even aware of the fact you don't know about them. But he garbled that. And also, particularly with those fucking neocons, the raft of assumptions that they went in with, and then they didn't give a shit how wrong those assumptions were because it was someone else's money and someone else's life being lost as a result of their fucking terrible assumptions. Such fucking criminals, the bunch of them. But anyway, oh yes, Abigail, your son made you pancakes. You should have a birthday every day. There you go. Oh, nice. And your lady friend dropping by for cake and cuddles. That sounds absolutely perfect. Excellent, excellent times. My God, that's a weird taste. It's like those weird tastes, they're not unpleasant, but they're weird. And they're not pleasant. They're not like, it's not like this, oh, that's a fantastic taste. It's like, that's weird. Like, it's not terrible. It's not bad, but it's fucking weird. It is a really weird flavor. But that's okay. So there it is. Oh, that's the name. Sarah Gard Wilson with Lance Simon, the unhinged boyfriend husband. Sued Avi & Co. He works for Morrissey. That's right. No, it's that right-wing propaganda thing from North America that's been paying little Avi for a while to do his dumb shit. Yeah, they're probably in trouble because a serious and focused lawyer going after them. See if I can find a good story. Gangland, here it is. Gangland lawyer sues far-right agitator over defamatory posts. Oh, that's interesting. What's this? No, that's old. So she was also suing Google at one point, but didn't win. So she's initiated legal action against Avi Yemeni. Has been engaged in an increasingly bitter stoush with Mizgard Wilson's husband, self-styled video blogger Langley Simon. Dispute reached a nasty crescendo 2 days before Christmas. Mr. Yemeni posted an image of her with the headline, "Arrested and charged for threat to kill." In a statement of claim lodged last week in federal court, Mizgard Wilson said neither she nor Mr. Simon had been charged. Mr. Yemeni knew the claim to be false when he published it. She's seeking damages, aggravated damages, and orders forcing Mr. Yemeni to remove the post. So she's also suing Rebel News, the right-wing propaganda shit that pays little Avi to be a fuckhead. Ooh. The running dispute between Mr. Simon, who vlogs under the name Lucky Lance, and Mr. Yemeni, who in 2018 at a public rally for jailed white nationalist figure Tommy Robinson said he was the world's proudest Jewish Nazi, might normally be dismissed, with apologies to author Tom Wolfe, as a bonfire of the inanities. Yemeni's failed political candidate. He's previously been sued by his own brother, anti-sex abuse campaigner Manny Wax, and in 2019 he pleaded guilty to unlawfully assaulting his now estranged wife. So Mr. Simon, who describes himself as a comedian, previously peddled conspiracy theories about the origins of the pandemic. Oh, God, he was one of the ones doing stupid bullshit about how Dan Andrews injured his back. Wow, in 2011, he stabbed a man to death in what a jury accepted was self-defense. Okay. So Mr. Simon accused Mr. Yemeni of being a crowdfunding scammer who encouraged people to donate money to spurious legal causes. He removed those posts after Mr. Yemeni took a legal action. So the lawyer, she's a former gangland lawyer. Oh, wow. Hopefully he just gets taken to the fucking cleaners. Yeah. So, wow, that's a cast of characters, isn't it? Gangland lawyer, dude who stabbed someone to death in self-defense, and little Avi, who convicted of violence against his now estranged wife. Ugh. Wow. It's like you don't want to pick a side. You just want to be like the guy in the Godzilla movie. Let them fight. You kind of feel if they damage each other, we all win. I wouldn't like Avi Yemeni to win, actually. Either they just batter each other and that's a win, or Avi Yemeni gets absolutely hammered and that would be a win. Just because of his outsized ego, it wouldn't be good for Avi Yemeni to win. Wouldn't be good for society if Avi Yemeni were to win. We'll see. We'll see what happens. Sometimes these things travel through the courts very slowly. And people keep getting adjournments and whatnot. So who knows what's going to happen. Hey, speaking of courts, apparently some fairly high-powered lawyers are launching a private prosecution against Christian Porter for the historical allegations of rape. And they're saying the reason they did it is because they read through all the material that was submitted and there was like never an investigation or prosecution. And they were appalled that with that much evidence that there was never any prosecution. So they're launching a private prosecution against Porter. Oh no! Hey Matt, how you doing? We're talking legal things at the moment. Various court cases. Who's suing who? Who has proceedings against whom? All those things. But yeah, you know, it's another wonderful day in the neighborhood, as the old saying goes. Oh, Raiders, you hadn't heard that one? No, I saw that today. So yeah, see if I can find some details. Private prosecution Porter. Oh yeah, it's the guy, one of the main guys who's behind that party that's trying to get started, that's calling themselves the New Liberal Party. So one could be forgiven for thinking that might be a little bit of self-promotion going on there. But anyway, so it just so happens that the New Liberals candidate for Robertson, Vanya Holt, and myself are both ex-prosecutors. So this is actually written by Victor Klein. Okay. Vanya was a solicitor with the New South Wales Director of Public Prosecutions. I was a prosecuting barrister with what was then called Commonwealth Crown Solicitor's Office. When the Porter dossier was released by the federal court last week after former Attorney General Christian Porter abandoned his defamation case against the ABC, it radically changed both our perceptions of the case. Up to that point, we, like everyone else, had just seen snippets of information from the media, no way of knowing whether a criminal prosecution against Porter would have any chance of success. But the dossier was an eye-opener. So they're saying they were both deeply affected by the dossier. I'm not going to go into any traumatic details. This is importantly, Kate's statement was not the only evidence. There were contemporaneous notes made by Kate, statements made to several other people of what had happened. There were said to be a number of witnesses who were available on the night of alleged rapes who would be able to give circumstantial evidence. Much of the evidence is hearsay, but the Evidence Act of New South Wales makes provision for the reception into evidence of hearsay statements, such as those made by Kate to her friends, where the statements are made shortly after the event and unlikely to be a fabrication. So he says, overall, it might not be the strongest case that's ever been mounted. That's not the test. The test is whether a reasonable jury, properly instructed, could find the accused guilty. There was no doubt in our minds they could. And if that's the case, it's proper and appropriate to put it before a jury. We couldn't imagine why New South Wales Police hadn't proceeded with the investigation. Didn't make sense to us. No one in New South Wales was going to lose. So as prosecutors, we're aware that private individuals can launch criminal prosecutions. These days, private prosecution is little used because we tend to trust our prosecutorial authorities to do their job. In this case, New South Wales DPP was not even given the opportunity because police closed the case before the accused was questioned. So we decided to take it on. We knew we'd come in for the inevitable. This is just a political stunt. So here's the thing. So they're launching a private prosecution. And the interesting thing is that can go three ways. They launch a private prosecution and the DPP and the courts say, okay, knock yourself out, do a private prosecution. Another thing that can happen is because they've launched the private prosecution, the DPP can say, that's the government prosecutors, essentially. The DPP can say, okay, you raised it, we're going to take it over and prosecute the case now. Or, and this may well happen, what is legal is these people raise a private prosecution, the DPP can take over and then say there's no grounds to continue this and withdraw the case. So those are three things that can happen. These people can be allowed to take their private prosecution to court. the DPP can say, okay, you've put together enough that now makes us want to take it to court, or the DPP can take it over and then say, and there's no value in continuing, and call it off. But otherwise, none of this is going to make Christian Porter's life any easier. Oh, God, yeah, Raiders. They're finished with Porter. There are a few other people who could be looked into in New South Wales, not least the Deputy Premier. Jesus, not least the fucking Premier, for fuck's sake. It's ridiculous. And hello, Kelsey King. Nobody's interested in reading yet. A webpage of the New Liberals looks a little idealistic. Yeah, I have, people launch, minority parties. There's some, like the Democrats, last for decades before they fizzle out. The Greens are possibly going to be around for a long time. Who knows? And the New Liberals, they may be nothing. They may never establish a foothold in anything, or they might be something. Who knows? Safa, hello. You had a mixed week. Bizarre crime happened at your mum's home when you weren't there. Something got stolen. Broken at 3 a.m. Was she there? Stop happening. No, that is no. Break and enters or just no. Because I've had that happen. And it can just fuck with you. I mean, not least, if you get stuff stolen and whatnot. But it can fuck with your head as well. I lived in a 2-story house one point where all the bedrooms were on the second floor, and the downstairs got broken into while I was asleep. That was disconcerting. So yeah. I'm just thinking of it. It's like, oh, no, that was really bad. I hated that. It was a long time ago. It was like 20 years ago. But it sucked. Wow, that's the last time I had a place broken into 20 years ago. It's happened a couple of times in my life. And it fucking sucks. Yeah. I just realized it hasn't happened for 20 years. So that's not bad. I've had my car broken into, but that's not quite like getting your fucking house broken into, particularly not when you're actually asleep in the house. Nobody, you've had burglaries. Yeah, someone invades your sanctuary, like your safe space. Yeah, like I said, twice it's happened while I've actually been home. Like when I've been in bed while I've been asleep, they've been in the house. That's really disconcerting. To wake up and realize someone was breaking into the place while you're asleep. That's really disconcerting. But yeah, it can well and truly fuck with your head. Celtic King. The last 2 burglaries, and this was both times I was actually in the place asleep, was with my ex, who is the mother of my children. So, yes. Stuff has happened in Dubbo. I'll tell you a funny one. I've told this story before. I think there's a video of it on my YouTube channel, but it's a funny story. I'll tell it again. Abigail, you've never been burgled, but had the same car stolen twice? Damn. Okay, so growing up in Dubbo, we seriously, most of the time didn't lock the back door to the house. You just didn't think of it. And anyway, one time my parents were away. I had a job at McDonald's. I worked late shift, I worked closing. And so someone dropped me off home. I got home really late. Must have been, I don't know, somewhere between 11 o'clock and midnight. And I got home. The person dropped me off home. And my brother's bedroom was at the front of the house, and his bedroom window was open. And this, the window faced onto the street. And I thought, what is it? Because what he would often do, he would sit on the front veranda. He'd have his window open, and he'd have speakers from his stereo sitting on the windowsill. And I just thought, he's had his speakers there and he's fucked off and he hasn't bothered to put the window down, the lazy shit. And so I just pulled the window down. And then I walked, because I didn't have a key to the house. I just walked around to the back door, and the back door wasn't locked. And it was this old house, and it had a long hallway up the middle. You could see straight line from the back door to the front door. And of course, vice versa. You could see straight down there. And just as I came in the back door, I heard the window was really noisy, and I heard the window open again, and I was like, what? And then I saw a shape, because the front door had glass panels in it, colored glass panels. So it wasn't opaque, but all I saw was a shape run past there. And I went, that's bad. That's really bad. And of course, I want to know what happened. And the house was dark, and I don't know, the hallway didn't have a proper light, or the light was at the far end. And so it was nighttime, and I had to walk. I wanted to get to the front door because we kept this walking stick by the front door that had sort of a quite heavy grip on it that, you know, you could nut someone with. And I wanted to get up to the front door, and walking up the hallway in the darkness because there was 4 bedrooms either side of me, and the darkness was really disconcerting. And but it felt like it took forever, and it probably only took me a couple seconds to get there. And I grabbed this walking stick and opened the front door and sort of went out, and I saw someone running around the corner street. Like, okay, so they're fucked off. Okay, there was actually someone had actually broken into the house, and I disturbed them, and they're fucked off. And I was like, Jesus. But I thought, Jesus, for all I know, someone's still in one of the... I had 2 little brothers, but they were at someone else's place. My brother and his wife actually had a flat up the road. So I just went up and told him what had happened. And he went, all right. And you're like, you got to... I don't think I even called the cops, actually. But he said, all right, we're going. But you should like check room by room to see if anything's missing. You want to make sure no one's there. And the only people who were in the house were my older sister and one older brother, but they were both out. Neither of them were home. And Safa, this was in North Dubbo, which is the scummy part. I've lived in the scummy part of Dubbo. So it was I guess it qualifies as inner Dubbo because it was not out on the fringes. It was not that far from the railway line, in fact. I'm only a couple blocks from the railway line. So on my brother's advice, I'm checking room to room, and I didn't really notice anything completely out of place. When in our lounge room, besides the lounge, we had these giant cushions for lounging about on. And so like there's a dining room and there was a door in the lounge. It was a very old house. All the rooms had doors in them. And so I had the light on in the dining room, and I opened the lounge room door. And just with the light coming in behind me, I fucking saw in the corner on this big pile of cushions we had, some fucker is hiding in the pile of cushions. There was definitely someone, and I jumped out of my skin, and I was like, fucking hell, I can fucking see you. And I had the stick, and I'm just like, I'm fucking do it. But to turn the light on, I had to reach into the room in a way that was really uncomfortable. And like, just like horror movie stuff, me reaching into this room, and I flick the light switch on, light comes on, and there's definitely someone hiding in this big pile of cushions. Like they've tried to sort of crawl down behind them, but their hair's sticking out at the front. And I'm like, right, you fuck, get out of there. I'm going to fuck you up. And they're not moving. And say, don't pretend you can't hear me, you fucking piece of shit. You make me come over there. I've got a stick, and I'm going to fucking cave your skull in. And they're not moving. They're not saying anything. And I'm like, don't fucking test me, man. I'll fuck you up. And I'm like 17 at this point, and I'm probably shitting myself, but I'm trying to sound tough. And so I go over to the room, and yeah, there's definitely someone just hiding under all this stuff, and they're not responding to me. And I went on the stick, and I was really tempted to just fucking lay into them, just like not take any risks with this fucker, and just fucking go to town and pound the motherfucker with this walking stick. And but I don't know, something made me not do it. I'm saying like, just fucking come out. I'll fuck you up. And they sort of pulled this stuff up over them, like is it just the top of their head they hadn't covered up. And I don't know. I just, instead of just hitting them, which I really wanted to do, I pulled this thing that was covering them back a bit, and I've got the stick up there, and I pulled it back, and it was my fucking sister. My sister, who was supposed to be not home, but she was also like paralytic drunk, which is why she hadn't been responded when I'd been shouting, because my shouts weren't actually penetrating because she'd passed out unconscious drunk. And I was like, oh my God. And then so I kind of kicked her feet and just went like, fucking wake up. And she's like, what, fuck you. I almost just caved your skull in. What the fuck? You're not meant to be here. I'm just going, what happened? And I told her what happened, that there'd been someone in the house. Someone had broken into the house. And then she freaked out because she'd been, but I was like drunk and unconscious with someone in the house. And anything could happen. I went, yeah, okay, worry about them. I could have caved your fucking skull in because I really thought I should. I really thought I should just beat the shit out of this person who was trying to hide from me because you're not meant to fucking be here. And yeah, so that was my Dubbo break-in story. Yes, so my sister was very lucky because I really seriously considered just sort of beating into this person who was hiding. And I didn't. And so she escaped a beating. And I probably escaped a lot of trouble. But yeah. So that was the thing that happened. Like I said, we had such bad security in our house, didn't lock the back door. We were lucky stuff didn't happen all the time. She goes, how old she is? She's 2 years older than me. So I was probably 17 and she's probably 19 at this point. So, but yeah, that was quite the adventure. Periodically, I remind her of that. Yeah, you were so lucky. You were so lucky that I didn't beat your head in that time. Because it was a bad scene, is all I'm going to say. It was a bad scene. So, yeah. And some people will tell you that, Dubbo is all crime. But, and I lived in the scummy part of Dubbo. And that was the one break-in that I can remember at the house. Hey, Johnny, how you going? Am I going to open the stream? I don't know. Probably depends how much people want me to. Yeah, that's an open question. Who knows? What are views on that? Yeah, I'm just taking it as it comes at the moment. Oh yeah, okay. Abigail wants. Okay. Johnny wants. Oh, nobody. As we say, that whole thing about defending your property with a gun. We know from the world's biggest test laboratory, the United States, having a gun in the house is orders of magnitude more likely to shoot a member of that household than it is to shoot anyone else. Like it's just so much more likely to shoot a member of that household rather than, a miscreant. So I will post the link then. Uh, just made that old Aerosmith song got into my head. Janie's got a gun, which appears to be like I don't know if anyone else remembers it. It appears to be like an empowerment revenge story about a girl who is sexually abused by her father and so shoots the motherfucker. Safa, if you injure a burglar, you are very likely to be committing a crime in Australia. There's a lot of variables, but yeah. Johnny, how's it going?
Hello, how's it going?
Good. How's the world treating you, man?
Yeah, all right. Mum's doing better, although she does have a bit of another thing going on. She's got a bit of a bowel infection, so she's on
Oof.
antibiotics at the moment
Yeah.
for that. And because of that, she was meant to get her second COVID vaccine today,
Right. But it's
and
not a
she
good
went,
idea.
yeah, went to the appointment, and they basically said, yeah, no, you're a bit unwell to get it.
Yeah. Wait till you're a bit better.
But about the whole getting robbed stuff. I haven't been robbed in my home, but
Yeah.
when I worked at a server, I did get robbed.
Ooh, that'd be intense. And hello, Dr.
Hello.
Abigail.
Hello.
So
Hello.
what's your petrol station robbery story, Johnny?
So yeah, there was this guy, and like he was tiny, like he was an absolutely tiny guy, and I know. Anyway, he just came in, and he just came to the front desk, like he's going to get cigarettes or whatever,
Mm-hmm.
and just going, all right, give me your money.
Yeah.
And I've turned around and gone, I'm sorry, what the fuck? And he turned back to me and gone, yes, this is completely serious. And I could see, like, just from his eyes and
Yeah.
all that kind of stuff. I'm just like, okay, all right. And I just opened the till and I just gave him the money. Even though,
Well,
like, under the counter there was a hammer.
No, you don't want to do that.
And
You don't want to do that.
Nah, the money's insured, so
yeah,
you don't want to put yourself at risk for someone else's money. Like it's just not worth it.
but
And I had a friend who got his head caved in the same situation,
yeah.
and that sucks. Service stations are the worst for like violent
Yeah.
burglaries.
And I'm actually really
yeah.
surprised. Like I've been working there for years, and I had not been held up.
Yeah.
And finally it happened.
Hmm.
And yeah, like he was a really small dude. Like I'm not like tall, but I'm a big guy compared to him.
Yeah.
But I could just tell, like I'm a lover. I'm not a fighter.
And that's the way to be, brother. That's the way to be. But even like, yeah, you don't want to do that just from the risk of it going wrong to you. But even if nothing goes wrong for you, like if you like knock the guy the fuck out with a hammer or whatever, but that's going to play on you psychologically as well. You're going to need, counseling to get that image out of your head, because taking someone out with a hammer is fucking messy. It's
yeah. Like I'm
gonna stay
glad.
with you.
I'm really glad that I didn't do anything, because it kind of screwed me up enough at the time.
Yeah, stressful.
I mean, I was back at work within 2 days after.
Yeah, the boss didn't want you taking time off.
Yeah, and but the major thing that really pissed me off was like I had a hunch that this was the case, but
Yeah.
it turned out all the cameras at this service station were fake.
Oh, no. Oh,
Of course they were.
no. Saving money. God damn it.
Yep. And the police took so long to get back to me, and they showed me a lineup. Like they actually came into my work and showed me the lineup instead of like coming into the police station. It took them so long to get back to me, and then they showed me this lineup, and the guy that I'm pretty sure it was him, but he had like much longer facial hair in the photo
Right. Yeah.
that they showed me, and all this kind of stuff.
Yeah.
I couldn't be 100%. So in those kind of cases, that's not enough.
Yeah.
But
Yeah.
I'm sure that he went on to do other things, and
Yeah. People don't hold up one servo. They,
Yeah.
Yeah.
They do it a lot. They do it a lot. I mean, I knew a dude because I mentioned before where AIDS and I went to uni in Bathurst. There was a prison in Bathurst, and for one reason or another, we would often you get a thing where you'd visit people in prison just to give them a visitor because these weren't Bathurst criminals; these were Sydney criminals, and they're a long way from their family, and no one visits them. And it'd be this like social thing we do visit them. And there's this one guy who was, he seemed nice enough. He'd been in prison for a long time because he was state ward. Like I don't know, his mother dumped him on the state system when he was under 10, and he said that's because I was an uncontrollable piece of shit. And then I was in the state ward system till I was 16. And they can release you at 16. And he said the day they could get rid of me, they did, because I was an uncontrollable piece of shit. And he gravitated to King's Cross, as young miscreants do, or at least did back in the day. I don't even know if that's still a thing. And yeah, so he got into smack, as a lot of young homeless people do there, and needed money to support it, so started doing armed robberies. This is back in the day where you could still feasibly rob banks. It's not even feasible to rob banks anymore. That's why people rob servos and 7-Elevens.
They don't even have like lots of money at banks anymore. Like
no, but they'll just
be
go
lucky
like,
to get $1,000.
Yeah, it's all in the ATMs. It's all we can't get a lot of money out without opening the safe, which there's a time lock on it, and
that's even if they have a safe. Often you'll find banks, you have to tell them like 3 days in advance if you want to withdraw a lot of money.
Yeah. So,
and then they'll have a small safe, I guess.
Yeah, this was in the 80s when it was still feasible to rob banks, and so he was robbing banks at like 17, and he said it was always awful because it was scary. So he'd wait until he was so strung out. The only thing on his mind is, I need money to score. And he was and so he'd go into banks absolutely crazed and rob them and scare the shit out of everyone because there was this crazed junkie waving a gun about and whatnot. And he did, surprise, because he was a young idiot junkie, got caught and arrested because he wasn't wearing masks or anything when he held up these banks, and so all the cameras got him. And when he was caught and he was tried, and he said he was convicted of 12 armed robberies, which got him like 10 years in prison or something. And he said, that's not too bad because I actually did more than 30. So it was just like, and so he was basically, he's institutionalized. He couldn't function outside of institutions because even years later he got out on parole and then just kept doing dumb shit until he got arrested again and back inside because he was just completely institutionalized and couldn't do anything. But he was a very interesting guy to talk to because he'd be quite personable to talk to. But the poor guy was just totally fucked up. It was just, and that's the thing, like, the reason I got into him, Johnny, is because, people don't rob one petrol station. They don't rob one 7-Eleven.
Yeah.
A lot. Yeah.
Then I kind of realized later, like after it happened, that I saw him a couple of times.
Oh, shit.
In the weeks coming up. Like, he was in there case of the joint or whatever.
Oh shit! Yeah, yeah. He was sussing stuff out. Yeah. Oh god damn. Yeah, and that will mess with your head because then you're going to start getting into this person keeps coming into the bloody shop.
And then I had, after this happened, like a week later, I had this guy come in and he was in there, like, you know, joking with his missus or whatever. And he came up to, like, he didn't get any petrol or anything. He just came up to, I think he was getting cigarettes. It's been a while. I think it was cigarettes. Anyway, he came up and he's just come up to me and just gone, "Give me your money."
Oh Jesus!
I'm just gone off, and then I realized he was joking. I was like, turn around, and just gone, "Mate, I just got robbed a week ago.
Yeah.
Be careful what you say."
Yeah. No, you don't do that. That's like at airports, even pre 9/11, they always had signs like, "We don't do jokes." If we say, "Do you have anything to declare?" and you think you're funny and you say, "Just the bomb in my luggage," you're going into the side room and someone with rubber gloves is coming out. And that was pre 9/11. They had signs basically saying, "We don't do jokes here." Okay. If you say something that you think's funny and we don't, shit's gonna get real.
And
airports
I think that,
are just a humor-free zone.
That was the closest. That was like the closest I've had to anything that would resemble, like, you know, PTSD. And yeah, like as soon as you said that, I was just like, you know, almost had flashbacks to that. It was like, you know,
no, that shit'll fuck you up, man. So yeah, don't underestimate the impact something like that has, because yeah, I mean, you know, it's like it's like our caveman brain takes over if your life's threatened, the old fight or flight thing. And then again, that a strength of humans is also a weakness, our ability to see patterns. It helps us in some critical things when we don't have all the information, but our brain puts a couple pieces together and goes, "That's bad, I'm going to react to that now." But if that gets overactive, it gets to the point where there's not actually any evidence of any danger, but you start filling in blanks that aren't even there, and you're like, "Oh no, this is bad. Fuck, shit." It's weird how that's one of the biggest strengths of humans, pattern recognition, but also wrongly applied is one of our greatest weaknesses as well.
And then the other thing that annoyed me about the whole situation, I mean, it wasn't so much the police because they had to ask these questions, but it was not my boss, but the guy that owned the petrol station, I only met him once before all this. You know, he was the kind of guy, he didn't live in Bendigo. I can't remember where he lived, but he owned multiple petrol stations in country Victoria. And so yeah, after it happened, I got a call and talked to him, and he was asking me, like, you know, did he have a weapon?
Oh Jesus!
And I'm just like, oh, okay. So, like, when he came up, he had his hands in his hoodie.
Yeah.
And you know, said all that stuff, and I saw his crazy eyes, and you know, all that stuff, and like, okay, this guy's not joking around.
Yeah.
And I gave him the money, and it made me feel like, you know, I should have tried to do something because I didn't know that if he had a weapon or not.
Yeah. No, dude, that is a fucking typical thing for an owner to say, and it's complete bullshit. It's such bullshit. Ugh, makes me so angry. AZ, if he was here, would be telling basically the same story as you. Working in a servo, having an armed robber come in, and then after the fact, the owner trying to second guess you and say, "Well, did he have a gun? Did he have a weapon?" And it's like, dude, shut the fuck up. A scary motherfucker came in here making threats, and so that's it. And it's in no, man, you were completely right. And that's absolutely predictable that the owner would do stuff like that to cast doubts on your actions, and fuck them, man. Fuck them. That's just
and
bullshit.
the manager we had was brilliant. Like, you know, she was great, but the actual owner, absolute bastard.
Oh yeah, no, absolutely. And I mean, you know, what is the piece of shit complaining about? Oh, he's worried his insurance premiums might go up by a small amount. It's like, fuck off, man. It's like, you come here and work the midnight to dawn shift and see how it feels when every weirdo on the fucking planet comes in.
And also, how about you just spend a bit of money and have real cameras?
Real cameras. What the fuck? Seriously, that's just.
And then after this happened, they installed real cameras, and then I heard, you know, he had that old app where he could look, you know, spy on all the employees as they're working.
Yes.
And you know, I just kind of kept my old half-ass working thing going on. I didn't really care.
I know what you mean. I had a friend who worked at a bottle shop in Sydney, and it was like a drive-up bottle shop, and it was actually quite vulnerable to robbery because it was this drive-in thing, and someone could drive in and, you know, flash a weapon about, whether that, I don't think you ever had anyone with a gun, but whether it was a knife or like an iron bar or something, and you go, I'm gonna fuck you up here, and whether they got to the till or even if they just grabbed some booze and threw it in their car and fucked off. It was really susceptible. And he said the owners were such pieces of shit. And they did get, like, the till got robbed a couple of times. And so they're never sure. And so the staff had got to the point where they hated him so much they were just ripping off all this money. Abigail, you have something.
Can I tell my story about how my car was stolen twice?
Yes, please. Yes, please.
Yeah. Why not?
I used to own, it's ancient now, but an XF Falcon, an XF Ford Falcon, 1986 model, I think. And the X series of Falcons, basically anyone with a screwdriver can steal one.
Yeah.
The locks were there just to keep the door closed. So the first time it got stolen, where I was parked at Mitcham Station, and the cops at Mitcham Police Station called it the Mitcham Picker Car, because they got so many reports of cars getting stolen from there. Yeah. And so what happened was, a few days later, they found it. The cops found it, like just in the parking lot at Ringwood, which is it's like the next suburb. And so they figured they just took the car for a joyride. And so they told me, and they said, "Go get it. Ring us up when you get it. Otherwise, if you just drive it around, the cops still think it's stolen, and you'll end up being shot or something." Yeah. So I went there. It had a small bump in the rear bumper, and some cigarette ash in the cup holder.
Yeah.
And more petrol than when it was stolen.
That's
they obviously wanted to go on a longer ride, but for some reason just abandoned it. Maybe they found a better one, who knows? But they literally, I ended up getting it back with minor damage and more petrol.
Just thinking, like, they probably did a you know, went up and filled up and then drove off. Did a drive off on the petrol, possibly in your car.
Well, it had like, maybe.
That's a fair bet, actually, that they took off without paying.
Say that again. Sorry. Say that again, Johnny.
What he means is that there's a fair chance they didn't pay for the petrol. like because it's not their car, it's not company chased to them. They fill up and then they just do a runner. Yeah,
do a runner. Yeah.
Speaking,
funny story. My second car, someone did that. But anyway, I'll get to the second time this same car was stolen. So I was living in Ringwood at the time. This happened 15 odd years ago. This was so long ago. Maybe even longer, maybe 17. It was before Will was born. So it was, it was like at least 16 years ago. And so I'm driving out, driving out of the my driveway, and I'm going to pick up my partner at the time, and we were going to go out. We were going to a birthday party, but I had to pick her up from work. Right, so I'm driving to her. She worked at the time at a small shopping center. You know, they've only got 20 shops and a big car park.
Yes.
And on the way there, I see a cop car just come past me, and I thought, oh, okay, fair enough. Good to see, they're at least patrolling the area because it's Ringwood back in the 90s. So that's a thing. Or the early 2000s, sorry. Anyway, so I pull up, find a car park, and the cops reckon that the guy who stole it probably saw this car because it's an XF Falcon and just thought, it's like sitting there, oh, which car do I steal? Bing! Oh, look at that. And just like spotted me straight away. So, are you awake, Angry?
Yeah.
You just froze for a second there.
Oh, did I?
I think I'm. Yeah. Anyway, so it was literally stolen, like just so quickly. The guy, he broke off my aerial and used that to open the lock on the door and to start the car.
Oh my god!
XF Falcons, everyone.
The older Fords and Holdens.
It gets better.
Very easy to break into.
Yeah.
Anyway, sorry.
Yeah. So I go in, like, chatting with my partner who's still at work, and I have to wait like 5 minutes or so, and we come out and the car's not there. So I call the police. Oh, am I still there? Because I'm actually like, I can still hear you. Download happening. Sorry, I should not use bandwidth like that. Anyway, so I call the cops and say, oh, my car's just been stolen. And they that's all they said. And they literally said, oh, is it a grey XF Falcon? And I'm like, yes. They already had the car.
Oh my God.
They'd already caught the guy, and before I'd even known the car was stolen. Like, it was just ridiculous. And so what had happened, the cop told me the story. That you know how I said at the start how I saw this cop driving the other way? Chekhov's gun, Chekhov's cop.
Yes.
Car. He was coming back the other way and saw my car screaming out of the parking lot.
Oh my God.
And so he thought, hang on here. Yeah. And he radioed straight away, and there were just like 3 other police cars within like 200 meters. So they all just pounced on him. Like, they were just in the right place at the right time. And he ended up in the Eastland car park. And the guy stole the car, literally ran out of the car while it was moving, and the car hit another car. Which my insurance did cover, thank goodness. But the other guy, he tried so hard to get my insurance to pay for his car, but
hate that?
It didn't. I don't blame him. I was really nice to him, and I tried to like actually engage with that, but my insurance just wouldn't cover it. So, and all that, like the front end of my car was all bent in. It was all superficial damage though. No structural, no radiator damage. So I got it fixed under insurance fixed it. And yeah, that was the story of how my XF Falcon got stolen twice.
Oh my God.
The cop who arrested him, when I picked the car up, he had a bit of blood on his shirt, and I said, "Oh, I hope that's not yours." And he said, "Nah, we gave him a few punches for you." Cops say, like, come on. Yeah.
Oh,
yeah. So they caught him before I even knew it was stolen. Yeah. So
right. I realized I didn't quite say what I wanted to say before.
Okay.
Early, old Fords are easy to steal, and old Holdens are easy to steal. I said old Fords and old Falcons. I meant old.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, because they had
Yeah.
they had really mechanical locks and really mechanical ignition.
And so it was flimsy as heck. Yeah. Like crime back in the 70s and 80s wasn't nearly as like prevalent or sophisticated as it is now.
Yeah.
No. It's a different thing. Oh, that's a bit of fun. Safa got pulled over by the soft border closure trying to get a train ticket at Wodonga. What were they like? You know, show us your papers. What is it? It's like
papers, please.
Yeah, I've never, because I guess with our various lockdowns over the last 18 months, I've never tried to subvert any of them. I've never been going anywhere. So I don't know what it's like to have someone say, you know, give us your ID and explain what the fuck you're doing here.
Yeah.
So South is nice. Cops were nice. Always nice to cops. Oh, I'm so
That's
nice
good to hear.
I've gotten away with giving a cop the finger. I didn't know it was a cop when I gave him the finger. But because it's like, just don't cop an attitude and just admit like, oh yeah, okay, well, that happened for this reason. Clearly I'm in the wrong. Oh well, you know. And I actually expected to get ticketed by this cop, but just because I just copped to it and I didn't have any attitude to him, and I said that, yeah, you know, I did that. I thought you were just some rando being a jerk to me, but I didn't realize you were actually trying to draw my attention to the fact I was doing an illegal right-hand turn, which I didn't know was an illegal right-hand turn. But and I was just going, okay, so here's the ticket, and he went, I'm not going to book you, but just, you know, pay attention.
Yeah, like, you gain so much more traction with cops if you just like play nice.
Yep.
In most situations, I guess.
I've done certain
coming from
things.
the queer community, we have a long and sordid history with police.
Yes.
I've done certain things where you know, if the cops had realized certain things, but I had, you know, played nice and whatever, and I just completely got away with it.
Yeah, and that's all you have to do, because there are so many people who don't. Ooh, that's the good stuff, Abigail. That's the good stuff.
What is it?
You know what I did today?
Birthday drink.
I was doing a bit of shopping because it is young Mr. Angry's having people over for his birthday tomorrow, and he wanted a few things for the party, and so he got, you know, some cider and some vodka, because I probably make a punch for his friends. But it was like, there's the Coles bottle shop that they've periodically been having the Nova at $20 off. Oof, and I thought, if they've got it, I've got a 3/4 full bottle, but if they've got it at this huge markdown, I'm getting it. And it was there, so I've got a spare bottle of it now. So.
$20 also, off any bottle of booze, I'll give it a go.
Yeah. This was $50.
Well, that's nice
on special, which is nice, and it's 43%. So
Is that
Not
an
bad.
English or Australian gin?
Yes, this is Whitley Hill is English.
I thought so. Yeah.
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 Where does it say? Yeah, in Liverpool.
Yeah.
Whitley, International, Wilson Road, Liverpool.
Yeah. So yeah, for those who don't know, Australian whiskies are quite expensive for two reasons. One, because the distillers are normally smaller and they don't have the economies of scale of those big international distillers who are making literally millions of bottles a year and whatnot. And the second thing is the tax regime in Australia is pretty goddamn fierce as well. So the Nova is a single malt from the Melbourne distillery Starward, which is the normal retail is $97. And actually an Australian single malt, a quality Australian single malt under $100 is pretty goddamn good. Now, when that's $20 off, so it's under $80, it's like, okay, yeah, boy. And I mean, because possibly sounds like I'm just being a parochial Australian and whatnot, but Starward Nova holds its own with and this has been judged this way on the global stage. It holds its own with the top Scotch distilleries, with the top American bourbon distilleries. It's beaten them in global competitions. So it's a fucking good drop. So yeah.
Sorry, which one is that?
Yeah, the Nova, the one that I've got. It's literally it's literally the nicest whiskey I have ever drank, and
it is.
I've had a few whiskeys in my time.
Used
to be a big Scotch person before I became a vodka person, but it's just incredibly. The taste is just so nice.
And
smooth and
where has it for cheap at the moment?
If I go, well, just we're here. I'll open the Starward website. They've probably got their list of on the website because they win a lot. What I love is
we summoned Kirsten.
She
just appeared in the chat. We summoned Kirsten.
Yeah. Kirsten, when she lived in Melbourne, worked at the Starward Distillery. She moved to Sydney to work at the Archie Rose Distillery. And again, that's another fantastic one. The Archie Rose Distillery has just won major awards in global competitions. The Australian distillers just do so well. I'm of legal drinking age.
Really? You sure?
I am. All the booze websites, they have this entry thing. I keep trying to remember when I'm bored, click I'm not of legal drinking age to see what website they redirect me to. Like I think sometimes they redirect you to Disney.com or something.
That's a classic one.
They just try and redirect you to somewhere very G-rated if you say you're not of legal drinking age.
See, this is why I shouldn't own, like, a website that would sell booze or something, because I'll be so tempted to, when the person clicks, no, I'm not of legal drinking age, it'll just direct them to terrible porn. I
don't know. Motherless.com or something.
Yeah. The most recent award,
which is mostly just like the most depraved shit you've ever heard of.
Yeah. Just looking at the website, the most recent award Nova got was at the 2021 World Spirits Competition in San Francisco. They got a gold medal. So gold medal winner at San Francisco World Spirits Competition 2019, 2020, and 2021. So it's just like consistently recognized on the global stage as being super good. Kirsten says Starward redirects you to ABC Kids, which is nice.
So I had a chat with my brother today, which is we basically only talk at Christmas and birthdays.
Yeah, sure.
Which is odd because like we'll sit down and chat for hours, but Yeah, like we're not phone talkers. So
Yeah.
And he was telling me about this still he has where he
the
actually
still.
distilled his most successful run. He distilled 96% ethanol.
Excellent.
What?
Which is the theoretical maximum you can distill from a still.
I was going to
past
say that
90
sounds very deadly.
Yeah, I know. He, of course,
often the
watered it
starting
down.
point.
Like,
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
yeah. So
Good.
But that's often the
He-
starting point. You get you get a base spirit that's strong. Then you make whatever you're making with it, and then that tends to come out at 60, 70%, and then most often that's diluted down to 40%. But sometimes you get the
Yes.
cast strength one, which will be 60, 70%.
Okay.
Megaleech, I didn't ask what he used. You can buy alcoholometers or whatever they're called. They're not uncommon at all. You can find them on eBay, at distillers shops and brewer shops and stuff. But he basically makes vodka, and he told me like he distilled something and he like poured 50% Jack Daniels in it to make it, and he said it was really nice.
Nice.
And I was telling him about some of the gin distilleries here in Melbourne, and he was very intrigued about adding botanicals and distilling it a second time with botanicals. And I think I might have and he started aging it as well, because otherwise it's just cheap and nasty. So like, the first couple of runs he didn't age them like longer than a few weeks. I'll see you, nobody. See ya.
Bye, nobody.
Nobody.
And yeah, it was nasty. So he started aging them, but he I told him to age it in wooden casks.
Yeah.
Barrels, if you can't get barrels or you're not making enough for a whole barrel, like you can get smaller wooden casks. He's aging them in glass, 10-liter glass bottles.
Okay.
Bottles, which I mean, that's okay, but
it's not really picking up character from glass, though.
Exactly.
Yeah.
So yeah, we had a good chat about that, and
well, that's excellent.
I
hope he should actually picks up on it. Yeah, no, he should do a tour at one of the distilleries, like we got that talk at Patient Walk where they explain the whole thing.
Exactly, yeah.
Just to give him the idea and go, ooh, I could do that.
Yeah, the problem is he lives in a tiny, tiny country town.
Yeah.
And he's busy as all fuck, and he's a workaholic, so he makes himself busy. So he doesn't get a lot of free time, but I'll mention that to him next time I talk to him. Which hopefully will not be the next birthday.
Yeah. So there's Kirsten saying glass doesn't age things, but it can help settle the flavors. And because Kirsten says we rest the gin for 4 weeks. It's like you let the gin lie down, and you go,
play it some Mozart and
some new age music or something. I don't know. So
maybe get it to do some yoga.
Get a bit of Bluey going for it.
Yeah, something nice and relaxing. Oh, I like that, because you get what we call bottle shock. That's kind of fascinating.
Oh,
I want to know what that is.
Yeah, what is bottle shock?
And okay, I don't know, because Kirsten's been doing a lot of moving and stuff, and she's been busy. Just in case Kirsten or anyone wants to join, I just put the link there again. Yes, this is Kirsten's our source of all knowledge on things booze, really.
Right.
Oh, there you go. Kirsten says they do play jazz at the distillery. There you go. Saf was worried about gin coming with a dose of COVID because it's from Sydney. No, there's a high enough alcohol content that it kills.
Yeah. Oh no, well, I mean, it depends. Like, don't you need a 70% ethanol percentage to kill everything?
And in fact,
so it would kill bacteria, but viruses are more hardy than that. So
yes.
Yep.
Yeah. That's actually a real thing. Although I think we've got past the idea of COVID being on surfaces. Okay, it's more immediate contact and airborne spread that's the issue. Because initially we had all this thing about wipe everything down and whatnot, and I think we've learned over the past 18 months, not so much. It's actually immediate contact that's the issue.
Now,
although this Delta strain is scarily transmissible.
You notice, though, when the Victorian authorities were saying that for our last mini lockdown, they're saying it's because this is such a... You had, again, the conservative dickheads going, oh, scaremongering, it's not. And then shit goes wild in New South Wales and they say, shit went wild because this is really transmissible. And everyone's going, oh, yes, that's very interesting. Tell us more. And it's like, oh, man, fuck you people.
Look,
seriously.
The hypocrisy of conservatives is it never shocks me. Like, it's just like, it's one of the hallmarks of conservatives, just be as fucking what's the word that the hypocritical. Thank you. Sorry, I'm a few drinks in. Be as hypocritical as you possibly can be whenever you need, because they don't give a fuck as long as they get what they want.
Yep.
Fucking conservatives just want to punch them in the face. You
know? The thing that is boggling my mind at the moment, like the horrible, just the horrible, like, you know, vaccine deployment we've had in this country.
Oh my God, how much does it suck? Yeah.
And like, I'm not exactly sure what has caused it. If we can't get enough from overseas, or we can't produce enough, or just, you know, distribute it enough. But I was just before I came onto the stream, I was talking to my mate who's, you know, he's Australian. He went over to, he did a working holiday in the UK, and basically he stayed there a lot longer because of all the corona stuff.
Yeah.
And he's also got himself a French girlfriend, and they want to be together, and all corona stuff has made it all crazy for them. But you know, he's over there, he's not a citizen of the UK, and when I was talking to him, he was pretty much waiting to get his first vaccination shot, and he's younger than me.
Yeah.
It's like, how can that happen over there and not here?
Oh, the federal government has who insisted on taking responsibility for the vaccine rollout have just completely fucked it. They basically every statement Morrison's made about vaccines has been bullshit. He made multiple statements about, oh, we've got an agreement for X million doses, and then the manufacturer came out and said, no, you don't. There's no contract. We haven't done anything.
Yep.
Basically everything he said is horseshit. So it's astonishing. What are their two responsibilities? Border control and vaccine rollout, and they've completely fucked both. So,
yep.
Oh, there you go. Abigail's talking on the phone. That's fine. Kirsten's explaining bottle shock. It's when the gin is really young, hasn't settled properly. The esters will get trapped in the neck and hit you in the face. Oh, so that's literally saying if they bottle gin too soon, when you open the bottle, some basically vaporized alcohol will in your face when you open the bottle. That's not good.
I'm sure you could turn that into a selling point in some way.
Probably getting that instant hit right in your face when you open the bottle. Yeah.
As long as the person buying it knows what they're getting in for.
Yeah. Well, there was that thing about people vaporizing alcohol and inhaling.
Oh, yeah, that was weird.
Yes.
Like, why? I
mean, because you get high quicker? I don't know.
I mean, yes, you might get drunker quicker, but you wouldn't. I assume that you wouldn't taste it or, get, any of the level of taste of actually drinking it. I would much prefer to drink and get a nice taste.
Yes, apparently you don't really get much taste at all. Yeah.
Even if I was, my whole goal is to get hammered, I would still want to just drink it.
Yeah. Yeah, it's an experience basically. And but
and also I have a bit of a question. So a while ago I bought myself, one of those big bottles on the frame thing that you can pour easily.
Oh yes, yeah, I know what you mean, yeah.
But it didn't come. It was in an antique shop, and it didn't have a cork. Where is the best place to get? Like, it needs to be a pretty big old cork.
There are probably look up a place that's for home brewers and home distillers. They will normally sell all sorts of caps and corks and sealers. That's probably your best bet.
Right. Fair enough. I was thinking that, but yeah.
Yeah.
Good to
that
know.
off the top of my head, that would be your best bet. A place that's for home brewers and home distillers, because they have all the little accoutrements.
Yep. And completely off topic from what we're talking about, but did you hear about someone made a petition for Jeff Bezos to buy the Mona Lisa and eat it?
Why not? I mean, I saw there were two different petitions online. One was like welcome Jeff Bezos back from space, and another one was don't let Jeff Bezos return from space.
Yeah,
sorry about that.
I'm firmly in the latter.
I had a video call from my lady friend who
I guess that's what it was.
Had she has ADHD, so she gets sidetracked easily, and so on her, and she gets about by riding a bike. So on her adventure from where she works to get cake, she was going to get me some cake. She stopped by and had pizza, and like went into this other shop. And then she didn't even get the cake, and she's low energy, so she's still popping around, but she doesn't have cake and she can't stay, so she's just popping around for a birthday hug. So
that's nice.
I was going to say, like, at least it wasn't going to be the other way around where she was getting you pizza, but she got a cake instead, and the pizza ended up being cold. But
cold pizza I can handle.
She forgot the cake. Oh dear.
Yeah, cold pizza I can handle. Cake doesn't really melt, but she also suggested ice cream. But I've already got some here, and melted ice cream is gross. So
yeah, fair enough.
Yeah,
I had pizza and pasta and garlic bread for dinner. So it's Thursday night's our takeout night with the offspring. It's just like anything like. I don't know how it became a thing, but it became a thing that Thursday night we get takeout. It's like So it's always a vote. What are we getting? Is it pizza, pasta, Asian, burgers, what fish and chips? What are we getting? And it was pizza pasta tonight.
I remember when growing up, our Thursday night was takeout night, but only because that's when my parents got paid on a Thursday.
That would make sense.
Which is odd to me, but I don't know why it's Thursday. And I thought about doing the same thing here, and my son Will just said, "Why Thursday? Why not Friday? Friday seems like a more sensible day to do it." And I'm like, I don't even get paid on a Thursday. And
is this when you turn around and tell him, well, everyone else is getting takeaway on Fridays, so if we get it on Thursday, it wouldn't be as big a weight and all that kind of stuff.
True.
Yeah, I don't know why we ended up on Thursday, but somehow it just became a thing that Thursday night's our takeout night. And to be completely fair, it's not the only time we do takeout. And in fact, my offspring are so, and they have a source of income independent of me, so they can do this. But occasionally, because I've been working from home for 16 months, occasionally there'll be like a knock at the door at 8 or 9 o'clock in the morning. And it's a food delivery. They're actually ordering breakfast to get delivered. And I just laugh. It's just like, my God.
So back in the...
hang on, I just want to answer Safa. Safa, I would, but I have my Facebook account pretty well locked down to just like a close circle of friends. And I'd rather keep it like that if that's okay, because and I get spammed with friend requests and messages and stuff like that. So I'm just looking on my face, and I'm not on Facebook very often anyway. But I don't even know who you are on Facebook. So I'd rather just not I keep it to close friends. So I hope that's okay. Hi Stella. Hi Stella.
Hello.
Hi Stella.
I'm excited then.
Yeah, you did it just a little bit breathy. That's okay.
So back in the day, when I was a little tacker, so Mum grew up on a farm, and her uncle basically ran the family farm until he was basically dead. He was an absolute machine, right? And the last couple of years, he moved in with Mum and I until it was time to go to hospital and all that kind of stuff. But we'll basically every couple of weeks we'll go to the farm and get rainwater from the rain tanks, because the water back then in Bendigo was so bad. It was absolutely terrible. Like, it's gotten a lot better now.
Yeah.
And then when we were coming back from the farm to Bendigo, we'll play this game where if we counted enough magpies, I think it was, if we get to a certain number, then we'll get fish and chips.
Yeah.
But then also it also was if you saw a kangaroo that was worth like 20 magpies.
Right.
So and
it beats I Spy.
Every now and then, Mum didn't want to cook tea, so her and Unky, they would go, "Oh, we see a kangaroo." I'm like, "What?" And I'll be looking around. I'm like, "What?" And this happened quite a few times where they see these kangaroos and I couldn't see them, and they would add them onto the tally, and it turned out they were just adding. There was no kangaroos. Mum just didn't want to cook tea. they put it on, and I turned around in my infinite wisdom of being a child and said, because they both had glasses, I said, "Oh, can I look through your glasses so I can see the kangaroos?" And yeah, there you go.
Oh well. Oh, Kirsty. Oh, sorry. Abigail, I just noticed. Oh, so I'm trying to be good and drink non-alcohol for the second hour, but every time Abigail has a taste of that whiskey, is making me go, "Yeah, that'd be good." But it's only a Thursday night. I've got to be responsible. It's really funny because I'm a contractor, and my contract actually ran out yesterday, and they wanted me to stay till at least the end of the year, but they hadn't sort of got the paperwork formally done. And I'm like, oh, I don't know, like I'm cool with staying on. And they go, it's going to happen. I go, look, okay, well, worst case scenario is I'll get a bit of a holiday. Like if the bureaucracy makes me wait for a little while, I'll just take some time off while it gets sorted. And I got up this morning and it had been sorted and I'm still working. And I realized when it got sorted and I was still working, I kind of didn't want it to be sorted. I wanted to have a bit of a break. And it's like, oh, I'm still working. Okay, that's fine. So, yeah, because, I was even thinking like, wow, if I'm not working Thursday night, I don't have to get up on Friday. I can go hog wild on Thursday night, but I do have to get up for work tomorrow, so I'm not going hog wild tonight. We'll have a bit of a party tomorrow night and Saturday night, for that matter. It's a birthday stream for Abigail on Saturday night at her place, going over to her place to do the stream from there. So that ought to be fun. Tomorrow night is probably going to be, on my end, is probably going to be loud with multiple interruptions. You got another call.
I had another voice call from my lady friend. She can't make it. She tried so hard, but she got sidetracked so much that she ran out of energy and just had to turn and go home. So she at least called me, and it was a video call, so I got to see her face. And
that's nice.
And she said happy birthday, and it's like she got sidetracked at this store, and she got sidetracked with pizza. I think there was a troll at one point she had to defeat, and the Spanish Armada just resurfaced here in Melbourne. She had to fight them off, and that took days the first time, let alone a woman on a bicycle. So it just was turned into an adventure, and she just ran out of steam. So
that happens.
Yeah,
particularly if she had to do a Walter Raleigh and set her bike on fire and crash it into the Spanish Armada.
Absolutely. Yes, correct. Fire bikes, they're a thing now.
What?
She was able to make it on Friday, but she can't make it on Saturday. So she already had plans on Saturday. Unfortunately, so she won't be there for the live stream. Yes, Stella. Angry had to change the Friday night stream to Saturday. So my big birthday bukkake bash. No actual bukkake.
We just like alliteration.
I just like the alliteration. Is on Saturday night. So
yes, and it's because with the whole lockdowns and shit, I'd forgotten that my son's planned 21st birthday fell in the middle of the last lockdown, so he had to postpone it. And this Friday was the first time he could invite a few people over. And because he was at his mum's place, I'd kind of forgotten. So I'm going with Abigail, yeah, Friday night. And he comes back and says, so this Friday, my party. And I went, oh, that's right. I agreed to that, didn't I? Oh, dear.
The thing, like the only thing that bums me out about Saturday night instead of Friday night, is because she can't make it, and I was like really looking forward to introducing her to Stella, because I mentioned to her how Stella and I are like always sending like love hearts and messages about shagging and stuff like that, and she thought it was the funniest thing / the cutest thing she'd ever heard of. So I was kind of looking forward to that interaction. So yeah, another time perhaps.
Another time.
She was open to being on the stream, so you know.
Oh, that's cute. We'll do it sometime, definitely. So Stella's going to go to a reopening of the local pub on Friday night, even though she's not allowed to drink at the moment. Okay.
Oh,
just
no.
Solidarity with the locals.
Yeah.
That's
Grand
good.
reopening of the local pub. That's like a big deal. That's
Yeah.
Yeah, I'd go to that if I can't drink.
Yeah.
Yeah, maybe next time, Stella.
In
the meantime, we still have each other. And
yes.
Grasshopper's wife, I guess. And
yeah, I guess. Yeah,
the latest addition to the harem.
Why not? Why not, indeed?
In the meantime, I'm gonna finish this drink, and since I don't have to listen for the door anymore, I can like chill out, and I've got my PC set up for some Elite Dangerous.
Oh, nice.
My HOTAS ready and cleared some space. You know how I was sorting through all my magic cards?
Yes.
So I put in a huge effort to get them all done. Just like just blitz through them, and I thought I'd finished, but I was in the space where they were. I moved some stuff that I didn't have storage for into that space, uncovering more magic cards, like 2 whole boxes full, and I just like, I'm over it. I'm over it. Someone please come and get my magic cards. I'm sick of sorting through magic cards.
Oh my god. Oh my god. Jesus.
Grasshopper's under the weather. Is he? Oh no.
And hello, Justin.
He sent me a birthday message today, so he must have done it from like his sick bed.
Yeah, that's fair. Just a little summary from Stella. The pub's been closed since Christmas 2019. Then they couldn't reopen because of COVID. Then it changed hands. Now it's opening again in a town of 1,200 people. This is the biggest event of the year. It's like, yeah,
that's huge.
That's cool. That is very cool. I like that.
Cool. Can my PC run Windows 11? I have no idea. Look, ever since Windows 7, Windows 7 is when Windows peaked, and that's a very common opinion. And so I'm like so over it. Like they told us Windows 10 would be the last version of Windows, which I thought at the time was utter bullshit. And then I hear about Windows 11. I'm pretty sure it can. I'm running a 9th gen Core i7, 32 gig of RAM, and an RTX 2080 Super. So I assume the specs are good enough.
Yeah. And we were talking about this the other night. The idea of having to question whether your PC can run an operating system because it's so resource intensive is such fucking horseshit. It's the idea that just the base operating system is going to challenge your system. That's just so Microsoft, for fuck's sake.
Yeah, it's peak Microsoft. So the system requirements for Windows 11. Nothing before 8th gen is supported. So if you're 7th gen, fuck you, I guess. But they're gonna like discontinue Windows 10 next year, 2024. I don't know. How old is 7th gen? Like 5 years old by now.
Don't know.
So the system requirements are a 1 gigahertz processor with 2 or more cores on a 64-bit processor, which doesn't say much. 4 gig of RAM, 64 gig of storage. Although I wouldn't install Windows on any less than a 200 gig drive. Like it just bloats right up. Firmware, blah blah blah. UEFI graphics card, DX12, display 720p. Okay, so they've upped the specs considerably. So, I'm gonna get a new computer. I'm rusty with my computer specs. Absolutely, I'd love to help you out, Stella. When you need it, let me know, and I'll just need to know like what your budget is and what you're going to use the computer for, and I'll help you out. No problem. I helped Angry out with his computer in the same way, and it's not hard. So I'd be happy to help.
Yeah, and Abigail was very helpful on that front. Also noticed Stella saying with the local pub when it was built had the longest bar in the Southern Hemisphere. There you go.
The longest as in size?
Yeah, length. Just the length of the public bar. Although, and I quickly looked that up. The bar at the Trust in Flinders Lane is said to be over 40 metres. What else is? Apparently, lots of people argue about it. As with any such statistic, there are a number of claims for the longest bar in Australia. Captain's Flat in New South Wales was 32 metres long. The Mildura Working Men's Club built a T-shaped bar. It was believed to be the longest bar in the state of Victoria. The bar was 91 metres long. And had 32 beer taps, but it was removed in 1995 to add poker machines. Hilarious.
Oh, no.
Big Bell,
of course.
Western Australia, the hotel of an abandoned township in the Murchison region. Okay, cool. Wiluna in Western Australia, the old Wiluna Hotel, which was demolished, was reputed to have the world's longest bar. The bar at the Trust in Flinders Lane, Melbourne, is said to be over 40 metres long. So that's a very ambiguous claim, apparently. Although I do remember
You're welcome, Stella.
One of the little satellite towns near Bathurst when I was at college, they had a thing for having the smallest public bar in the Southern Hemisphere, and it was literally only like this wide. Like there was one person could stand there.
That reminds me of someone set up basically it was just a tiny little booth. But they put like a sound system and a DJ deck in it, and they called it Minuscule of Sound as a play on words to Ministry of Sound. I think it was in London, which of course it was, because London's good for that kind of scene and music. But yeah, the pun was great.
Yeah. We almost did a thing for the Fringe Festival one year with Aidsy and some other comedy people he knows, the world's smallest comedy venue. And it was going to be like a two-person tent. So only one person could go in with a comedian, and there'd be a bouncer on the door, and it was going to be free. And like people go in and they'd get told one joke. and then the bouncer would throw them out. And,
but
let
if it's
someone
a
else
tent,
go in.
then people can hear through it.
I know.
Yeah.
But it's
But
technically.
it's a great concept.
Yeah.
Safa,
Yeah.
I have no idea if Ministry of Sound is still around. Probably. Certainly not as big as they used to be, but
I'm pretty sure they would be.
Yeah, they'll probably still be around making compilation CDs and shit. But yeah, not a lot of people buy CDs anymore. So
no, 90+% of music these days is digital.
Yeah.
In fact, I think vinyl sells more than CDs at the moment. This retro thing, vinyl.
Yeah, there's literally, because Fitzroy is hipster central. There are 2 shops within walking distance of where I live that sell vinyl. It's only vinyl. Which is crazy.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But even JB Hi-Fi has a huge vinyl section now.
It's
no 5G, not yet vaccinated.
I have a few vinyls and stuff, and I don't have a record player.
I have
but
vinyl.
I did have a record player and stuff, and it broke.
Yeah.
And I just haven't got round to replacing it.
I have some old cassettes from when I was young, but I don't have any vinyl. And Stella's quoting about the bar got cut in half. That's just typical.
Well, that's interesting. If someone's claiming it to be 100 meters, Wikipedia is saying a bar in Melbourne with 40-meter bar is reputed to be one of the longest. So I think the 100 meters, either someone is way off the mark or they need to update the Wikipedia page about longest bars, because that's astoundingly long. But oh god, my brain just went blank. I was going to say, what were we talking about before that? I was going to say something as
records.
Records, right? Yes, my vinyl collection comes from the 80s. I bought it in the 80s, and I bought a turntable that has a USB thing in it, so you can do digital recording straight from the player to a US, like a thumb drive, and then put it. But I haven't set it up. I kind of keep meaning to just digitize all my old vinyl LPs, but it's still in the box. I haven't bothered to set it up yet.
Good.
But
do you have any like special edition records where they have it isn't just a black record?
Oh, I have a bunch of limited editions, different sizes, shapes, colors.
Yep.
Yeah, 7-inch, 10-inch, 12-inch. I have all manner of limited editions.
I recently watched a video about some of the world's strangest materials that have gone into vinyl records.
Yeah.
And one of them was a punk band that they released a record where they had their own hair and piss in the record. And
sounds so incredibly punk.
Yeah. And the Flaming Lips, they released a record for Record Day, and it was a like a compilation thing with other artists, and for the first 25 records, they got like it wasn't all the contributors to the record, but they got quite a few of the people to donate blood, and the Flaming Lips donated all their blood, and it was all mixed together and put into these 25 records.
I have heard that one, yes.
And it's the record is there's a gap in it, and so like the blood sloshes around as it spins around.
Megaleech, you remind me of a joke about sorry, Megaleech. Did I say Megaleech? I said Megaleech, yeah. A joke about necrophilia scratch and sniff magazines. But I looked up the Pee and Hair record, and it's real, and it's Eohippus. Eohippus.
That's the name of a prehistoric morph, I think.
And it was a record called "Getting Your Hair Wet with Pee," and the record was embedded with their hair and pee, so it's like transparent but yellow, and you can see bits of hair, and it looks absolutely disgusting.
Nice.
That's gross, and I'm gonna move on.
Relatively recently, like in the last 20 years, some fairly well-known but sort of hipsterish band released this mold of an album that you could put water in, like you could freeze.
Oh, yes.
And end up with this temporary album, which would play on a turntable. Like it's very lo-fi because it's, again, what a lot of people don't realize how vinyl works is within the grooves of the records are all these little bumps and stuff, which the needle reads and it sends a signal. So LPs are so analog, like it's quite complex how they do it. So when you do it with something that's not to a very fine detail, like ice, it plays music, but in a very low, like a badly tuned radio. It kind of plays it like you're listening to a badly tuned. But that was a very weird gimmick to actually let people create their own record.
On the site that I found the Pee and Hair album, it's also an album impregnated with menstrual blood.
Oh, yes, that's okay. I haven't heard of that one.
From a band called Perfect Pussy, which they're like, it's on brand for them because they do a lot of feminist kind of punk music.
Fair enough.
Yeah.
Seems legit.
What else have we got here?
The other one that I heard of is back with like where you're talking about the you make your own frozen record. You didn't actually make this yourself, but there was a record. I can't remember the name of the artist, but they released it. It was a record made of chocolate.
Oh, yeah.
So you would play it for like, maybe 3 times, and you could actually hear it, and then you're supposed to eat it.
So, is it the anti-Putin band?
No,
that's Pussy Riot. Yeah. So Metallica brought out an album called Load, which it didn't have embedded in it because they sell billions of albums, but the cover art was basically bull semen, and the follow-up album Reload was also bull semen. There's a Thrash Humpers was a band who, what they did was they handcrafted the album covers, but they just like trashed it. Like they graffitied it. It was like brown paper with a stamp of their band name, and they would like draw graffiti penises and tell people to fuck off. And it's like so totally punk that it's great. I want one. But everyone was unique. Everyone was different. So collect them all, folks.
I mean, whenever I hear about Metallica now, I just think of some kind of monster, which has the weirdest sounding snare drum ever committed to recording.
Was that on their Death Magnetic album, or was that before that?
No, it's its own album with Some Kind of Monster.
Oh,
And
that's
the one that had the documentary to go along with it, where
Saint Anger.
Where
oh
they're
yeah. Sorry, some kind of monster is one of the song on Saint Anger, yeah. And the only reason I have that is back in the day, Channel V, they used to have competitions to win, like, you know, albums and all that kind of stuff. And I found a formula to win the competition. Like, you know, I wouldn't actually win the main prize, but I would at least win like the second prize, where, you know, I'm quite an audiophile, and I've done audio engineering kind of like stuff. And basically all you had to do was mention, like, basically comment on the audio engineering in a kind of style that was like making the record sound good, and you would win at least the second prize. And I did it multiple times. And one of it was I won the Sinanga album, and I was supposed to get, part of it was you're supposed to get a book that came along with it, but apparently the book was and also the documentary on DVD. I got the documentary on DVD, but they said yeah, this book isn't it's been held up in being on the printing press or some kind of thing. Can we and they send a list of movies if you want that instead of just waiting for the book. And I went through the list. I'm like, oh, America, you know, what was it? The South Park guys, the puppet movie they made, Team America.
Oh, okay.
As soon as I saw that on yes, I can own that for free. Give me that.
Yeah.
Because I didn't really care about Metallica.
Yeah, that's fair.
So before bedtime, I just want to mention the final album on this website.
Oh, okay, yes.
Doesn't contain anything gross, but okay, so it's a punk album. The artist is called Nigel Peppercock. 3 words.
Yeah.
And
brilliant name.
The cover is him wearing shoes and socks.
Okay.
And that's it. Yeah. And so and the album has a sticker over his genital region that says, Rick says, I don't know who the fuck Rick is, you must be 18 or over to rock with the cock. And then at the bottom, jailbait is not allowed at this party. And assumably you peel the sticker off when you buy it. But yeah, it's that's unfortunate, and I wish I'd never seen that.
I just looked it up. Nigel Peppercock.
Nigel Peppercock.
I got 2 records that I bought that had a couple of little surprises in them that I had no idea that were coming. So I got a Hard-Ons record, a live Hard-Ons record.
Yeah.
And I opened it. Was it's in a paper bag sleeve. And I opened it up, and then in the record there's just a little baggie with a toothpick and a breath mint.
Right.
In the record. I was like, okay. So that's still in there. And then I got a Godspeed You Black Emperor record. And it has a coin that's been run over by a train.
Right.
In it. Just Yeah,
my brother used to do that when he was a kid, get coins and run them over. And the funny thing was that at the time, my dad worked for the federal police, and defacing the Queen's image
yeah. Yep.
is a federal crime. And he went nuts at my brother, who didn't know any better, but like that's a federal crime in Australia. So thank you, Kirsten. It's been a really great day. Had an excellent day. But yeah, that's the thing people do, put coins on train tracks.
Yeah, coins on tracks. Yeah. Oh well, I'm going to go to bed too, having learned about Nigel Peppercock.
Eager to rub one out in bed, are you?
Exactly.
Yeah, fair enough.
Alrighty.
Right, so I think it's bedtime.
Everybody.
Now I'm going to show off, just in case I haven't shown off, my cat making cocktails shirt. It's,
cool.
Oh, nice.
Yeah.
I would like to show off my Glock t-shirt that has like an actual Glock printed on the back.
Oh, nice.
Because thanks, Stella. Because it's my favorite pistol, I guess.
And
I bought this t-shirt in Thailand after shooting a Glock. So anyway, good night, everyone.
Speaking of, today was apparently one of the amnesty days where you could take in unregistered and illegal weapons to
they're still doing
get them crushed without criminal or any questions asked.
Okay, you know about that.
Cool.
Oh well, I've still got all my illegal weapons, so there's no.
He says
I missed
on
the
a
memo.
live stream.
Yeah, I missed the memo, so I'll just incriminate myself about all my. Yeah, all right. Good night, everyone.
Sure.
I'm going to go to bed with all of my illegal.
Live long
weapons.
and prosper.
Goodbye, guys.
Take care, one and all. If you're around tomorrow, see you tomorrow.